Thank you to our sponsors.
Hi, Chris Mc Loone here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to be talking stock rigs. And my guest today is Jay Johnson with Rosenbauer. We're going to be talking about Rosenbauer's stock program, a little bit about the program, a little bit about some of the units available, a little bit about how the dealers get involved. So, Jay, thank you very much for joining me today. You know, as I have looked around at different stock programs, it seems like there are commonalities, but there are certain unique factors with all of them as well, no matter what manufacturer you go to. So to start us off, could you describe Rosenbauer's stock truck program?
You bet. Thanks, Chris. And thanks for inviting me to the podcast and being able to provide information for the marketplace or our customers. And if you allow me, maybe what I'll do is kind of level set around some words, because our industry, as you know, is full of vernacular and slang and things that people sometimes abuse and use that may help us with the conversation. And I'll start a little different to build to the answer. So, let's start with the word custom, because that's one of those words that gets used a lot, that traditional word of a custom fire truck or a custom order. And it's just what it says or sounds like, right? It's something that's made to an order, whether that's a pumper or an engine, a tanker or a tender, a rescue or a squad, a ladder or a truck, a platform or a tower, any of those things. A custom truck starts with an order, and that's a very customer specific PO. That starts the process, and that begins what is a make to order project. And it's just what it sounds like, right? We're tailoring that truck, that fire apparatus, to the specific requirements or the unique needs of the given fire department, so they can provide the response for their demands that are in their jurisdiction. It's all very tailored to that one individual department. And at Rosenbauer America, with our customers and our dealers, we do that every day, right? Just what you would imagine. Then there's the term that we're sharing about today, stock. And what is a stock truck? Because that's kind of the gist of what we build around in terms of your question. And it starts with this: there's no order, right? There's no existing customer purchase order or contract. So we're building something instead of make to order. We're making it to anticipation. We're trying to estimate, approximate, get some idea of what a fire department might be wanting to purchase. And that can be done in collaboration, of course, with our dealers as well. And I'll expand on that. But what we're doing now with a stock truck is we're not making it to a given order. We're making it based on some history and data around what people have been buying, and then looking around in the marketplace to see what maybe the trends are, what people seem to be wanting to buy. And when you do that, to be clear, a stock truck is not an inferior or a lesser product. It's the same great product, the same great quality, the same dependability that you would expect from any truck that you would order from Rosenbauer America. So you're not compromising if you wind up exploring or looking at one of our stock units that we do as ourselves or dealers. You're not giving up per se anything on the performance of the product. There's still great products with no compromise involved at all. You get a great operational rig for your department. And what kind of additional background or answer is that an order is going to be initiated in a stock situation, often by one of our Rosenbauer America dealers. They will buy trucks for their account, or as, if you will, for themselves as dealers. And they're taking that initiative without a customer PO again, right? That's the common theme. There's no existing current PO. And so they're looking at their marketplace. They're the, if you will, subject matter experts on their local market, and saying to themselves, okay, I've got a pretty good idea of what people tend to buy or what they've been buying. And they're going to take, if you will, a little bit of a bet on themselves to go ahead and order a truck that may eventually line up with what a customer is looking to acquire. Some additional context, I think, on the product, right? When you get in and you say a stock truck, how does that sort of frame up in the mind of a dealer or ourselves as Rosenbauer? And it starts with the basics, right? For example, you're going to want to be sure that you're meeting the minimum requirements of the NFPA. That's a really good baseline to make sure that you have a truck that's in fundamental compliance with the current NFPA guidance. That's just sound thinking and a safe place to operate from. Then you're combining that basic information as dictated or guided by the NFPA with experience. What our dealers have seen, many of them have been in their market for years, if not decades, and they pay I call them the tip of the spear, right? They're on the front lines every day. They see what the fire departments in their local areas, whether those are states or provinces, what have you, are what the people are buying. And they have a really good sense for what some of the more common types of trucks that are being bought. And they apply that, they use that when they're putting together the stock trucks that they'll order. And to be fair, to be more clear, these could range from a commercial chassis pumper all the way to an aerial, like a ladder or a platform. And you might say, gosh, I mean, that's a pretty wide range of things that we do in collaboration with our dealers. But that's what's necessary, as you know, in the fire service. Not everyone needs a pumper. They might need an aerial. They might even need a rescue or a tanker. And so there's a pretty good mix, if you will, of products. And again, that's all done with a certain degree of risk, right? That I don't have an order yet, but I have a pretty good idea of what folks may be looking to buy in the future. And I kind of missed something, Chris, as part of the answer as well, that I should have not neglected. We don't look at it as a program per se, right? It's more about a process or an approach that can solve for some fire departments and their needs, right? And it's not something that's new or invented. It's something that the fire apparatus industry has probably been doing for decades to different degrees or levels. But in the end, it's not a limited time sort of thing. I would say it's somewhat perpetual, and it's just a different way or an approach or a process that gives the fire service a means maybe to solve for their situation or their need at a given point in time. I often will use this. I don't know if this works, but it's a metaphor or an analogy that I kind of use in my own head sometimes when you talk about these things, like a custom truck that's made to order or a stock truck that's made in anticipation of an order and has some availability to it. When years ago, my wife and I, we were in a situation in our family where we had the time, and we had the budget, and we had the family size and whatnot. We needed a new home, and we worked with a builder that we got comfortable with, and we worked on the plans, and we worked on through the whole process. And after a period of time, we had a new home, and it was kind of done the way we wanted it to suit our specific need at the time, right? Fast forward years later, things change, and same people, my wife and I, but now we had a different need, and we needed something in that situation a lot quicker. Didn't need as much home, didn't need as in terms of square footage, and our budgets had changed. And so we ended up buying what construction people call spec home. It was already built. It met probably 80+% of what we needed, and it fit with that particular time and our need. And so we bought it. And I would tell you that same thing could apply with our customers in the fire service. There may be times where they have the budget and the time and the need to build something suited exactly to their jurisdiction. But there may be times, for whatever reason, where they need access to something more readily available for any number of reasons or circumstances. And again, in collaboration with our dealers, we are able to provide through stock trucks that opportunity for our customers.
Now, you mentioned before just about how, these types of units are nothing new. Apparatus manufacturers have been building them for decades. However, given the current climate right now, there is a heightened awareness within the industry, within the fire service, of this option if you need to go that route. One of the reasons departments might choose is it's more expeditious. The lead time for it is reduced. Oftentimes there is a reduced price. So could you just kind of go through with me why, if you go this route, why is it faster, and why does it usually come in a little bit under, I guess, the norm for where we see custom rigs right now?
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question, and it's one that takes a little bit of unpacking, because you're right. There is, I would say, perpetual demand for different reasons for maybe something that's more readily available, to your point. And to start, right, just to get right to the answer, maybe unpack it a bit, I would say that, when a customer's needs, what their requirements are, fit with a stock configuration in our dealer network system or within our own system, then and that truck may be potentially at an earlier stage in the build process. There's a chance then, to your question and points, that you could compress the build time, the cycle time, from the day that you need to order it to the day you take delivery of it in a fire station or the fire department to be able to put it into service. It could be, to elaborate on that, it could be that in a situation with a stock truck, some of the primary components, and component may not be the best word, because that may even be like a commercial chassis, like a Freightliner or an International or a Kenworth. Maybe that has already been ordered on a stock truck. So one of the longest lead time items in the whole process may already be underway. It may already have been ordered. So that's going to start beginning to compress the cycle time for the build. If it's not that situation, maybe the truck's even already begun production, again, as a stock and anticipation of a future order. Or in some cases, it may have even already completed construction. It's done. It's ready right now, and it may be sitting at a dealership. They may have already taken delivery of it, or it could be finishing at one of our plants. and it's ready to go, right? And that's a core benefit of a stock unit. You may be able to shorten some of that time. The unpacking that probably should go or be coupled with the whole story is, if you think back to that custom situation where it's made to order, and again, nothing wrong with that. We do it every single day, but it's a different process. So you're making an investment on a truck, a custom rig that is the way you want it. And in that scenario, right, just to kind of expand, you've bought it, but now typically, as you know, Chris, I'm sure, there may be a pre-construction meeting that's required, right? And usually once the truck is ordered, that could take anywhere, let's just call it round numbers, 30 days, maybe 45 days before the truck committee or the department can travel and get to the factory, which is often where the pre-construction meetings are held. And they sit down, walk through the whole spec, right? Make sure, which is really smart, that there's a clear understanding of the truck to be built, because again, it's custom, it's made to their order. So you do that meeting, and a lot of times there'll be iterations, like, maybe clarifications as to what needs to happen to get the truck dialed in. Maybe while they were at the plant, they discovered there's something new, or they went to a trade show and discovered there's some new thing that they like to maybe add to their truck before it begins that journey. So in short, there can be an iterative process with a custom make to order truck. And after that meeting, there may be, back and forth through different conversations, emails, conference calls, you name it. There'll be a process of getting everything clear. And that could maybe, it could take another few weeks or a couple of months. It just depends on the magnitude of the truck, how many trucks, how, all those things. Once that's done, then, right, what happens at Rosenbauer is we begin that journey of engineering that truck, getting the bills of material, getting the print packages, everything that's necessary to be successful, making that custom truck made to order. And the process can take, another month or two with all the engineering detail that's required. And then that's released to production, which means that our purchasing people start buying the material and all the lead times associated with all those things. We begin the scheduling process based on those lead times. And all that leads to, a truck that's made to order being, 18 to 24 months later before you're possibly going to see that finish. And I bring that to light mainly to do a compare and contrast. On the make to order custom, it does take longer for all the reasons that I just articulated. And most people in the fire service, including, yourself, that's kind of how it goes. On a stock truck, where you gain the potential benefit is it's again something that's been purchased in advance of a real order, and a lot of things have started to happen, right? And now as a customer comes along and intercepts that truck at some stage in the process, there is an opportunity to possibly compress the cycle time, or said differently, get it faster. And to some departments, that's a huge benefit. It becomes a bit of a trade-off, because what I mean by the trade-off, Chris, is yes, I might be able to save the time, but now I'm not necessarily going to get something that is 100% exactly exactly my truck, if you will. But in most cases, it's probably for some customers anyway, 70 to 80% of what they need or what they want. And now you've got to deal with that 20, 30% that may not be quite what they want. And if if it's relatively straightforward, it might be easy to modify it before the truck is finished. It depends on where it's at in the system. Or worst case scenario, if you want to call it that, let's say the truck's built and you're looking at it and going, gosh, I'd like to have it. It's got most of what I want, but there's a couple of things I really need. And in many cases, with our dealer partners at Rosenbauer, they're able to make modifications even at their dealership, right? That will dial it in, that final 10, 20%, whatever it is, to get it even closer to what that fire department needs. So it can solve a problem for the right customer at the right time. And that's the beauty of being able to have a stock strategy available for the marketplace and for customers when it makes sense to take advantage of it.
Okay. I'm going to put up here just an example of a Rosenbauer stock rig. And I wanted to find out if you could just go through the process with me of what if the Apparatus Purchasing Committee wants to investigate this option with Rosenbauer America, what's the process that they need to go through?
Yeah, it's the beauty of it is this may be my shortest answer, Chris, because we've made it simple, right? The last thing a customer wants is complexity when they need a truck in a hurry, and so it's literally you're a phone call away from solving your problem. If a stock truck could work for you or is what you're looking at. And what do I mean? Again, it's simple. You can connect as a fire department with our local dealers. They're all across North America, the US and Canada. And if you're like, well, I don't know who your dealer is, well, that's okay, right? You can locate them with the power of the internet, as we all know, and go to our website at Rosenbauer America, or in your area, maybe search for a dealer for fire apparatus. And I believe a Rosenbauer dealer will show up in your search. And bottom line is get in touch with us and we'll get you connected with our dealers and or ourselves to get you in touch, if you will, with a truck that might solve your needs. And I would expand slightly to say the types of trucks that we might have available, there's a wide range, right? Because there's a wide range of needs. So as I may have alluded to at the onset, there we have everything from a custom pumper. And when I say custom in this context, something built on a Rosenbauer America chassis, to a commercial like a Freightliner or International chassis pumper, and then all the way over to an aerial. And in between could be everything from our RTX electric fire truck to an industrial foam pumper and occasionally a rescue. We try to have an array of things for customers to choose from because everyone has different needs.
All right, Jay. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down with me today to discuss this stuff and kind of drill down into Rosenbauer America's stock program. But before I let you go, do you have any general comments about Rosenbauer's stock truck programs, or just stock trucks in general?
Yeah, well, and again, I appreciate you letting me share with you a little bit about what we do, right? And look, I would say in summary, in conjunction with our dealers, Rosenbauer is committed, right? We make an investment together to have stock units available for departments that may need that approach to solve their need, right? And that may not always be the case. Some people may, for whatever reason, want a different approach, the make to order or custom. We do both, right? And it's all about choice. We realize that we're in the business of providing choices for our customers. And that means in the stock scenario, we better do our homework and work in close collaboration with our dealers who also do their homework to make sure that we've got something that could possibly work. And by the way, Chris, we pay attention to what happens over time, and we'll tweak, right? Or we'll start with a clean sheet. If the product is not what people are buying, we don't continue to do that. We try to adapt and adjust our stock trucks so that they're suitable for the market. And if someone says, look, that's not for me, I need something made the way I need it for my area of responsibility, my jurisdiction, we do it every day as well. And we're happy to do so.
All right, perfect. Well, again, Jay, my thanks to you. If anyone needs to get in touch with Rosenbauer, could you just give us that website one more time?
Sure thing. It's rosenbaueramerica.com. Very easy to find, and we keep all of our, in the context of our discussion today, Chris, we keep our stock trucks posted on our website. We work diligently to make sure there's good visibility there at rosenbaueramerica.com. And because it's a pretty broad selection, feel free, if you don't see what you're interested in, you can contact us through that website. It's very simple. And we can get you connected with a dealer who may have their own dealer stock units that may actually serve your needs even better, particularly in that local market.
All right, perfect. Well, again, if you would like to see former podcasts that we've done, they are all available at www.fireapparatusmagazine.com/podcast. Again, Jay, this has been great. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's like I said in the beginning, there are some unique factors with all the different stock programs. So thank you for shedding some light on Rosenbauer America's stock program. So again, this has been Chris Mc Loone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment, together with Jay Johnson of Rosenbauer America. Have a good one, everybody, and stay safe. Thanks again, Jay.
You bet. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you to our sponsors.